We're back in Southern California and we're here to drive the Toyota Prius Prime.
The one to get.
So quiet.
Well, it's like every other electric vehicle. Good torque, nice and quiet.
Good acceleration.
The plug-in version of the Prime with way more range. We're going to get into all of that.
And power.
And right now, what's under the hood of this thing?
Gone is the 1.8-liter four-cylinder. The Prime now has a 2-liter four-cylinder matched to an eCVT with a combined 220 horsepower. It has a 13.6 kilowatt-hour battery and up to 72 kilometers, 44 miles of range on the base model. The XSE and XSE Premium models, 64 kilometers, 39 miles of range. This is a front-wheel drive only model.
0 to 100 kilometers an hour in just 6.8 seconds. That's 0 to 60 in 6.6 seconds. So way more power, way more range, way faster, way better looking.
Yep, way better looking.
And the car looks good too. All right, let's get into what do you get with this? What are the key standard features?
The Prime comes standard with a heat pump, a 7-inch driver display, an 8-inch touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, 6 USB-C ports, cloth upholstery, manual and heated front seats, a heated steering wheel, power windows with auto up and down, heated power outside mirrors with a folding feature, and Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, including blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic alert. In the US, heated front seats are not standard, but you can add front and rear parking assist to the base trim as an option.
We're in EV mode right now. We can put it in sport. What else can we do?
You can put it in S for subscribe, and if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the couple car review twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure you like and subscribe, but also follow along on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to see what's going on behind the scenes. For me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below the like button. Well, we drove the regular Prius about 4 months ago, and now we're in the Prime. And the number one thing I would say to somebody if they came up to me, Andrea, is like, huge improvement.
Massive improvement. I can't believe how well this handles, how much I am enjoying the Prime. Look, I like the Prius too, but this Prime, I don't know, I like it much better. I like the fact that it's a plug-in hybrid. It's smooth, it's quick, it's comfortable.
You know what? And then when you get into the price, which we will, and you get into the rebates, which we will, and you start factoring it in, I think you're going to come to the same conclusion. The Prime really is the one that's going to sell the best. They think about 80% of people will go for the Prime.
And you can drive this in pure EV mode up to 135 kilometers an hour or 84 miles per hour, which is really great.
The regular Prius has all-wheel drive. This does not.
No.
That, I think, is the 20% are going to go for the regular Prius based just on the fact that they need all-wheel drive.
And right now we're on a twisty road. The steering feels fantastic. It is not too heavy, not too light.
It's the Goldilocks steering.
Wow, and the way that this steering wheel feels, it's very sporty. I am really enjoying this. And as we're on this twisty road, as I take the corners and I release the acceleration, I don't even need to put on the brake because it slows down for me automatically.
Now, we this morning had a chance to drive the new Corolla Cross Hybrid.
Yes.
They're both being presented on this trip. And the difference in the driving attitude between the two vehicles, going from a small crossover back into a sedan, the driving dynamics of this are head and shoulders above that, especially the steering feel is much, much better.
This is 50 pounds lighter than the previous model. This just feels so light when you're driving it and has way more road presence than the outgoing model.
All right, and we're going to get into the style and all that. Right now, this video is brought to you by Carmigo. So how would you like to be able to sell a vehicle easily within 24 hours and you set the minimum price?
With Carmigo, all you need to do is upload your car's details and pictures. It takes about 15 minutes, and then you set your minimum price. Then Carmigo collects offers from a nationwide network of buyers. If you don't sell, you don't pay. But if you do, they'll take a $350 sell fee out of the final sale price.
Click on the link in the description below. Go on there, check it out, and you can sign up and save $50. It's a great deal. Now, we said with the regular Prius, Andrea, we never thought sexy and Prius would be in the same sentence.
Never.
This is a good-looking Prius.
Oh man, it's sporty. Yeah, sexy. I never thought I would say sporty. We were driving along and we saw the old Prius beside us.
It's frumpy dumpy.
Wow, frumpy dumpy ugly. This is definitely a massive improvement. I think you're going to hear that a lot in this video. Massive improvement. Anyway, it looks great. It has a lower roof line than the outgoing model by 2 inches. It offers up to 6 inches of ground clearance, and the back end is wider. I like the clear taillight. It just has a real modern look to it.
I like the front of it. I like the way they've carved out the headlamps and the daytime running lights into the hood and the front end of the car. It's a good looking car.
This comes standard with LED headlights, LED rear lights. You've got 17-inch wheels as standard, available 19-inch, and that's where you're going to get less range because of those wheels.
Actually, we talked to the chief engineer. It's great, the chief engineer's here, and they said, why do you have such a big difference? You go from 72 kilometers of range to 64. What's the difference? It's the wheel size, more rolling resistance, and a heavier wheel, and also it affects the aero. Can you believe it affects the mileage that much, just changing the wheels?
9%. I mean, that's quite a bit. This comes with a tire repair kit, and you'll notice there is no rear wiper.
That's too bad about the rear wiper. But you turn your attention to the inside. Andrea, we mentioned frumpy dumpy ugly on the outside for the previous model. This is a marked improvement also for the interior. It's got a conventional car layout except for the quasi head-up display behind the steering wheel. The rest of the dashboard is kind of what you expect from a Toyota car. I love that head-up display because it's exactly halfway between a regular instrument cluster and a head-up display. The seating position, you have to try this to appreciate how comfortable it is.
It is super comfortable. I just don't like the look of it. Is it functional? Of course. Is it a great idea? Yes, but I am not fond of the look.
It's like me, Andrea. I'm functional, not that good looking, but you know,
You're practical.
I get the job done.
Overall, the comfort level is great. And this Prime, Toyota wants to give it a sportier look. So what they've done here is gone with some red interior accents. And even on the seats, it's got different color red, burgundy and a cherry red. I think it's a brilliant idea, something different.
And they have conventional buttons for things like the HVAC and the heated seats. It's so nice that they're still embracing what people want, and that's real buttons and switches.
The center console is quite well organized. It has the same sort of shifter that you see in Lexus models like the NX. And the wireless charger is not a charging pad, but you just stick your phone into the slot. It keeps everything really clean at the center console. And also the glass roof is a fixed glass roof, and it's a dual sunroof, so you can close each shade depending on where you're sitting.
See, this is a great thing for Andrea and I. I hate sunroofs, so I would keep this one shut, and then you keep the back one open to keep Andrea happy, or you just make Zach happy and close them all.
Oh my goodness.
Happy wife, happy life. It's all open.
So guess what? They're all open.
So we have a great hot topic about would you choose the Prius or the Prius Prime and which trim? So we're going to dive into the trims in more detail in our hot topic, but what's the basic overlay?
We think in Canada, it's best to move up one from the base model. It opens you up to so many more features like the larger 12.3-inch touchscreen, a power driver seat, a wireless charger, soft text upholstery, the fixed glass roof, front and rear parking assist, and heated rear seats. The top trim in Canada adds the 8-speaker JBL sound system, ventilated front seats, driver seat memory, a power rear door, advanced park, the panoramic view monitor, and the digital rear view mirror.
Now in the United States, it's a little bit different. One up from the base model adds heated front seats, soft-tex upholstery, a power driver seat, a wireless charger, and front and rear park assist. Optional features on this trim are the 12.3-inch touchscreen and a fixed glass roof. On the top trim, it's similar to the features that we get in Canada. However, heated rear seats, the digital rear view mirror, the panoramic rear monitor, and advanced park are options or in a package. All right, here's me getting in the back seat. Now, you notice the roofline is lower, and Andrea mentioned it's been dropped down. However, because of the pitch of the rear seats, you do get quite a bit of headroom and legroom, and it's very comfortable.
The Prime offers some good space for a car. It is 181.1 inches in length and offers 43.2 inches of front row legroom, which is actually more than the Toyota RAV4. Second row legroom comes in at 34.8 inches.
When you lift the power tailgate, it's not a standard power tailgate. That's on the top trims. You do have a usable cargo space. Underneath the cargo floor is a styrofoam holder, and there is no spare tire. It's a tire repair kit.
And with all seats in use, you get 20.3 cubic feet of trunk space, which is more than the Corolla hatchback at 17.8 cubic feet and the sedan at 13.1 cubic feet. Overall cargo capacity comes in at 26.7 cubic feet.
You hear the difference?
Iced.
Let's go for it.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Because we're in California, we went for the iced coffees.
Iced coffee.
All right, Andrea, your questions from Instagram.
Don't sound like that. It's a good-looking Prius that isn't incredibly slow. Intriguing. You got that right. Curious if a 6'4" tall person might be comfortable in it. Well, Zach's taller than me. He's 6 feet. What do you think, Zach?
Well, I've got it down at the bottom, and I have the torso of a giant.
He does.
So probably the torso of somebody 6'2" or 6'3". No problem. No problem. Order it. Get it. You'll like it.
And for me on this side, this is a manual passenger seat. However, there is a manual height adjustment, and I actually feel like I'm sitting up quite high. I could go down a little bit.
Really, the big question here is, Toyota, the ratchet system lives in your universe. You have made it for the Prius. Make that ratchet system available through all of your other products. It exists. Use it.
And you know what? We'd really like that.
Yeah.
And we would stop complaining. I can't wait for you to try the new Prius and how that compares without going to the price range of the Tesla 3.
I think you have to talk about the price, because now Tesla dropped the price of the rear-wheel drive model. It now qualifies for the $5,000 federal rebate in Canada. So hopefully they'll stay under the magic number of $55,000.
Yeah.
But what's the price difference?
So rear-wheel drive compared to this front-wheel drive model, no all-wheel drive option on this Prius Prime. In Canada, there's an $8,000 difference. So you'll pay $8,000 more for the Tesla 3. In the U.S., there's only a $4,000 difference. So that really brings that gap closer. But here's the thing. Some people may not want a pure EV. They may not have the charging infrastructure in place. They might go on a lot of road trips. They don't want to worry about charging on the road. And that's where this Prime really shines. It's a plug-in hybrid.
So the perfect analogy is somebody who lives in a condo, an apartment building, and they don't have a level 2 charger, which is what you need for an electric car. But maybe they do have a regular wall outlet. You could easily charge this overnight and get the 72 or 64 kilometers of range with just a regular 110, and that's where this is going to shine.
We put out a lot of content each week on the Motormouth YouTube channel, and it's super easy to find.
All you do is go to the YouTube search bar and type in Motormouth. That's the name of the channel. Then the brand you're looking for, in this case, it's Toyota, and all our videos pop up. It's that easy.
What is the anticipated release date for this? This will be hitting dealerships in May, and mostly in Quebec and BC.
Yeah, so what they're doing is, like, this is dropping now the first week of April, so in a month. They're prioritizing Quebec and British Columbia in Canada because of their zero vehicle emission mandate for vehicles, but they are going to sell it through the rest of the country. We grilled Stephen Beattie, the vice president of Toyota Canada. Like, everybody in the room was asking, like, what about availability? they said that things are going to get better, right?
Yep, they're saying that they are ramping up production, so things should get better for Toyota models. And I also want to point out that a follower, a viewer, just ordered a RAV4 hybrid. It was 3 months ago that he ordered it, and it came in. So he got his in 3 months.
Okay, so the priority is to, this year, 2023, work on the backlog of orders.
Yeah.
So they're going to ramp production up in a big way, hopefully getting rid of the backlog, and then they start working on just having it available. So through 23 into 24, this is what Stephen Beatty said, it's going to get a lot better. Now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
Is it better to get the top trim Prius or mid-trim Prius Prime in the long run? As we'll be getting government rebates on the latter, is it worth the extra money?
Do you think this person knew the pricing? Because we didn't know the pricing until today.
I know.
So you have nailed it. The price of the middle trim of the Prime is basically the exact same price as the top trim of the regular Prius. And when you factor in the $5,000 that the taxpayers, you and me and everybody else, is throwing on the hood to buy it, well, it makes perfect sense to get the Prime.
Absolutely, it does. Now, of course, it doesn't qualify for a tax credit in the U.S., so it may not be as beneficial to you as it is for Canadians. The other thing is that the Prius Prime top trim, by the time you factor in the $5,000 federal rebate in Canada, it turns out that it is less than the top trim of the Prius regular model.
Take my money. That's the whole problem when you have governments putting their thumb on the scale one over the other. And that doesn't even come in with any provincial rebates, right?
Nope.
So there's extra cash, taxpayer money that we're paying for, that some provinces throw in there as well. So yeah, that's why they think 80% of people will take the Prime over the regular Prius.
It's a no-brainer. It just makes sense.
Even though it's just front-wheel drive only, you can buy a lot of really good winter tires for a front-wheel drive car with all that savings.
Yeah.
There's a difference, we talked about it already, between the smaller wheel and the bigger wheel when it comes to fuel economy. That and more in our vital stats.
Let's start with pricing. We'll do Canada first and then move on to the US. This is MSRP. The base trim starts at just under $38,000 Canadian, and the top XSE premium trim is just under $47,000. In the US, the base trim starts at just under $32,500, and the top XSE premium trim is just over $39,000. The Prime qualifies for the $5,000 federal rebate in Canada and rebates in participating provinces. The Prime does not qualify for a tax credit in the U.S.
Well, depending on the trim you get different fuel economy. The base model has smaller wheels, and it has a combined 1.8 liters equivalent per 100 kilometers, or 127 miles per gallon equivalent. With the larger wheel, it's 2.1 liters equivalent per 100 kilometers, or 114 miles per gallon equivalent. When the battery's depleted, with the 17-inch wheels, it's 4.5 liters per 100 kilometers combined. With the 19-inch wheels, it's 4.9 liters per 100 kilometers combined. That's 52 miles per gallon, or 48 miles per gallon combined. The Prime has a 3.5 kilowatt onboard charger. On level 1, it'll take about 11 hours to charge the vehicle. On level 2, 4 hours. Toyota has a warranty of 3 years, 60,000 kilometers, or 36,000 miles. In the United States, it's complimentary scheduled maintenance for 2 years, or 25,000 miles. Well, this car is really kind of in a league of its own, so we've actually gone just for plug-in hybrids. They don't have to be cars.
No.
Here's a few.
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Our first plug-in hybrid option is the Kia Niro. It has a combined 180 horsepower and 55 kilometers, 33 miles of range, a starting price of just under $38,000.
Another plug-in, the Toyota RAV4 Prime with a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder and Toyota's hybrid system, a combined 302 horsepower with 68 kilometers or 42 miles of range. It has a starting price just under $50,000.
The Hyundai Tucson plug-in hybrid with a 1.6-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder and an electric motor, a combined 261 horsepower and 53 kilometers, 33 miles of range. It has a starting price just over $44,500.
The Mini Cooper Countryman PHEV with a 1.5-liter turbo 3-cylinder engine, 221 horsepower with just 29 kilometers or 17 miles of range at a starting price of $45,000.
So there are 4 plug-in hybrids for you to consider.
Lightning round. 2 things we like, 2 things we'd like to see improved.
I really like the way that this handles. It has a bit of a sporty feel to it.
And I like the way it looks. It's got a sporty vibe on the outside.
I'd love to see a rear wiper on this model.
And I'd like for them to have some inventory so you can actually buy one.
I am so impressed with this Prime. I'm going to be recommending it for sure.
The thing is, they say there's going to be more availability. Time will tell.